So today on Camp Geeks, we're taking a peek and we're going to start with this. This is the Yakima EXO lineup. Now I've done a bunch of videos on various hitch-related rack products, from storing gear to storing bikes and what have you. So today we're going to get a peek at this. So thankfully Yakima was allowing me to do this video on these. Essentially I have the EXO SwingBase. This is going to be our first video today. This is the main piece that goes on the vehicle that actually allows you to do all these other products in addition to more. I mean, if you want a bike rack, this can just do bike rack. This can do skis and snowboards. This can do a lot of things. In this case today, if you want to continue on the other three videos, this is the EXO gear locker. That is the EXO top shelf. That is the EXO open range. So we're going to take a peek at all four of these products, each in their own video, so that if you're interested in one specific one, you can dial into it. Makes it a lot easier for you, to be honest. Makes it harder for me because I got to make 4 videos. That said, we're going to get started with this, the EXO SwingBase. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with the unboxing of the SwingBase here. I'm just going to cut the tape so I can lift off the top part of the box. And I guess there's one at the bottom too. Okie dokie, let's see all that comes in here. Obviously outside of the cardboard. Okay, there is some bolts in there. We do have, looks like 2 lock cylinders as well as some keys. Part of a receiver part. Okay, put that there. The rest looks like it's intact here. Okay, let me get this set up and get this other stuff out of the way. So if we actually look at the instructions here, we are seeing that the first step is taking that tongue that came in the box, and just like that, inserting that into the receiver hitch of the vehicle. It looks like with the slanted down at the top. So see how that has a slant to it versus flat? That's going to be pointing up. So that, and then there should be, look at that, they even give you a big wrench for it. So we have the wrench, we don't even have to provide our own tools. And then we have 2 bolts and the receiver pin key with the lock. Already has a lock cylinder in it too. So that's going to be, I don't necessarily need the lock right now, but maybe I'll do it just to showcase it. But that'll be the first pieces that I'm going to need. Is this lock cylinder, I guess, and of course the wrench. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do it on my hidden hitch here on my Tesla. That's the one I'm going to be building this off of. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this in. So that is something to say, you do have to come in from the left-hand side, not the right-hand side. So how I was doing it here, put it in, and then start tightening it down. The thread started getting really tight, so I pulled it back out. And I think it's just because it's the first use. So this will take a second. I should have grabbed my socket, just because it's the first time these threads have gone on, so they're a little tight. Okie dokie. I'm going to grab one of the keys from the bag, because if nothing else, I just want to verify that this lock cylinder is usable with that key. So I'm going to stick that on there, and now that is what it looks like with the lock cylinder on it, so that nobody can steal this. And yes, the key did work, so I'm good on that. But that's always a good thing to do. Just test to make sure the keys work before you lock something on a vehicle, because then you don't want to have to worry about cutting it off. So the same package that came with those 2 keys. We also have 2 barrel locks. Essentially, you don't need this for the SwingBase. It comes with all 3 locks installed for the lock itself to hold it onto the vehicle, but also the 2 turning knobs to lock the accessory into place. These are for your accessories. So if you buy an accessory that comes with a lock kit, but you want them all to be the same lock, this does come with 2 in the bag or in the box to add to those accessories for 1 key for everything. Now I will say is this, it also does actually mention to tighten this down to 100 Newton meters, which essentially is like 75 foot-pounds. So if you have a torque wrench nearby, you can obviously do that. It's a lot of force. Of course, in this case, I'm just getting this thing set up. I'm not really taking it on the road, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you are tightening this up, actually go on a road trip, that's what you want. You want to make sure this side is nice and tight. The cotter pin that this comes with actually is, if you don't want to use this lock, that's what this cotter pin goes. It kind of goes right here, right? And takes place of the lock. So that way it can't accidentally back out. It's an extra safety piece. But if you're using the lock, you don't have to use the cotter pin. For this next part, we're gonna need these bolts. Oh, there's a cotter pin there too, okay. There we go, about bolt number 1, bolt number 2. And I may have to grab another wrench just because of the fact that I need to tighten the bolt down, but we'll see. We're gonna essentially take the whole rack, the whole piece, and actually put it over top of this, and then these bolts go through that to tighten it, to obviously secure it to it. I'm gonna get ready for the next part by removing the nuts off the bolts. That way I can have the bolts and I can just put them through the holes if I need to right away. Okay, so here is the rack. You can see that there's this piece here, part here, that is where the receiver goes. Slanted part is gonna go towards the vehicle. So it's gonna go on here like this and off to the right. And actually it holds itself pretty good. Well, that's good. And no, I don't need another wrench. It is actually designed to hold onto the bolt for you. That's pretty cool. I'll show you that here in a second. Make sure the holes line up, and then I'll show you that part. So where the bolt slides in, they have these pieces on the top and bottom that actually hold the head of the bolt so it can't turn while you're tightening the nut down. And that's for both of them. This one and the other one. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's that. So the wrench they gave me fits the nut perfectly. So now it's just about me putting the nuts on these bolts with that guy and this guy and getting them tightened down as well. If you can, make sure you pay attention to these nuts as well. You're tightening to 100 Newton meters. So nice and tight. So if you have a torque wrench, now is the time to definitely use it. So I used the box wrench that came with it to get it snug. Now I can actually use my torque wrench, which I do have set to 100 Newton meters, which comes out to about a little over 74 foot-pounds. I'll take my time because this one is just in a bad spot. There's the 100 and 100. Let's get this stuff off real quick. Might be best just to, no, they're on together. There we go. So you probably saw that pin there, where if you pull this pin out, that's how these guys just swing out. Pin here swings out, locks into place, and then you have your spot where obviously your gear, in this case the gear locker is going to go. And then over here, so you have this big bolt here, this big T-bolt. Unscrew it, and then of course you can definitely tell it's undone. This still can't come out because there's a secondary pin. They pull just like these guys did, and then we can pull that out. So you have two pieces that are actually holding this guy in so it doesn't swing out down the road. But of course, that's the nice thing about this guy. Unload the pin and the whole thing will swing out. Right? Pretty awesome. Here's something as well. You can plug in your trailer harness into the back side of this guy. And on the front side, there's a pass-through. So if you have lights and such that are hooked up to this, you can use this without actually having to worry about running cables. So you can just plug your wire harness into the back side of the rack, and then the front side of the rack does the rest. So to go to the next step, you can have multiple different items that you can add to this specific rack. Whether it's the EXO top shelf, what they call the back deck, which is a flat deck, gear warrior with wheels, obviously the gear locker, that's what I'm going to be doing next. There's a snowbank, there's an EXO double up for bikes, there's a lift kit. There's just a lot of accessories you can add to this. So step one was to get this guy unboxed on my vehicle, so we're ready for the next step. We are there. So that is the EXO SwingBase. Pretty simple to set up, actually, to be honest. 2 bolts for setting up the actual SwingBase, and then the bolt that actually attaches it to the vehicle. Now, again, this is great for a lot of variety of vehicles. You know, in this specific case with my Tesla, I have a limited tongue capacity. So the amount of gear I'll be able to put on here is going to be limited, to be honest about it, because you have to take into account the factor of the weight of the hitch itself. These things aren't light. that said, you put this on an SUV, anything that has a higher weight tolerance is always going to be better. And I wanted to make sure I bring that up. I'm using this vehicle just as a test bed to get this guy out of the box set up completely. And I have access to vehicles left and right, all sorts of different vehicles. Just today I have my Tesla. So that is the SwingBase. The next video is going to be the gear locker, getting that guy unboxed, seeing how it comes, getting that on here. So if you want to check out the next video, hit next. It'll be here at the end of the video as well as at the top of the description. And hopefully if you're interested in any of the other ones, make sure you check out those. So I will have 4 videos in total. Let's get going. Thanks for watching into this one. Hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.